Rest of the show here when we're talking with Les Saland. He's with A.L Saland Insurance Solutions. And Les, tell me a little bit about yourself and your company.
Well, we got started in the insurance business in 2003. I actually was in IT for 12 years before that, but we had that Y2K bubble that kind of went poof,
right?
And nothing really happened, and everybody spent all their budget, and the industry was gearing up towards a lot of business. And around 2001, 2002, we began to see the writing on the wall that this was not going to last. Where we were multi-levels. I was wound up in middle management because I had 10 years in, and I started looking at what am I going to do. And my wife worked for an insurance company at the time, and I saw that this was a good opportunity, and I jumped on board and I got started in the insurance business in 2003.
Now, what are your areas of insurance that you cover? What type of policies are you selling?
Well, we do life insurance, health insurance, and disability insurance. We do Medicare and some buy-sell agreement policies, for partnerships and things like that. But right now, our focus has been on the health insurance side of things. We all know what's going on with the law. Mm-hmm. We do employee benefits, so we do that throughout the year, and we've always done that throughout the year, as well as insurance throughout the health insurance throughout the year. This year, things have changed a little bit.
Right. Now, everybody in the news is following, the Obamacare law and everything. And one thing, in talking with you the last week when we were discussing, the show and everything, that I was surprised to learn is you can help people with the healthcare.gov, right? You can broker deals with Obamacare, correct?
We are certified with the federally facilitated marketplace. We have an FFM ID and a national producer number. So when we actually go out and we assist people getting their account set up on healthcare.gov. Once we get their account set up, then we're able to go through and navigate and figure out what the best plan for them, depending on where they live, their geographic area.
Now, what is your individual feedback on the site and on the policies versus the way it was before? What do you think of the plan so far?
Well, I think the site now it's very good. I mean, I use it a lot just to go out and compare plans from different carriers, all side by side. The way it was when I first got started, it's night and day right now. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're 2 weeks away from the end of the enrollment period, so it better be night and day by now.
Right, and we're hearing a lot about the enrollment and stuff. I mean, we're at 4 million registered users, and they predicted or they had hoped for 7 million registered users. And so, explain this open enrollment period as of the end of March. What happens to people who do not have health insurance? Is the individual mandate going to affect them, and where they have to pay a penalty?
And we get that question a lot, and people, even now, I'm surprised at how misinformed they are. As of March 31st, if you are not enrolled in an individual health insurance plan, you are not going to be able to get enrolled unless you qualify under certain circumstances. You will not be able to enroll again until next year, and I think the enrollment period starts at November 15th, and I say I think because between now and then it can change. Now, a lot of people get insurance through their job. So if you start a job in July, then you can jump on their health insurance plan. Mm-hmm. If you don't have insurance by March 31st and you do not carry insurance throughout the course of the year, the penalty is going to be 1% of your household gross income times the number of people in your household up to a maximum of 3. Mm-hmm.
And so what you mentioned an interesting point there. If you get picked up by an employer, say in July, but let's say you didn't register and you just had a lapse of 2 months, is that prorated the penalty, or how does that work?
The penalty is definitely going to be prorated. We heard a lot about this $95 penalty, but I caution people that $95 is going to be the least amount. If you're paying 1% of your gross income and you're making $10 an hour, that's a $200 penalty, but of course it is for the year and it's not per month. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people I know have opted in to take the penalty either because they don't want to get involved in the healthcare healthcare.gov. They don't want to get involved in the government stuff, or they just can't afford it.
Mm-hmm. Now, speak to the listeners about the cancellations and all the people that. What have you seen in your business with people getting cancellation notices in the mail? Was that as widespread as what the media made it out to be?
I think we have to consider things in a vacuum. And yes, they made this whole big deal about it, and I'm not minimizing that by any stretch of the imagination. But we have to keep in mind what percentage of the population actually had individual health insurance plans. And that was a very small number. So, if you look at the percentage of people that actually had their policies canceled, we're talking 2 or 3% of the country had their policies canceled. Now, that's a large number if you look at the number. I mean, it's still in the millions.
Right.
And we've come across a lot of those folks. Now, the government did turn around and they did extend that the insurance companies don't have to cancel those policies. They can continue to honor them to the end of this year. And most recently, they said they'll extend it out through 2016. But that's the federal government saying that. The insurance companies really, from what I understand, they're not equipped to do that. They've already canceled the plans. They've already based their rates. I don't think that's really so much of a reality. I think the government's just trying to, shift everything away from them and put it onto the insurance companies. They made a mistake.
Now, then you mentioned that you could help people with the healthcare.gov, and I guess when people go onto the website, they have a navigator or something that helps them with the website. But you yourself, you recommend that they can come through you and help them with the website as well, correct?
I recommend that they find an agent, not use the navigators. And nothing against the navigators, but the navigators cannot advise anybody. And once you choose a plan, and if you choose it with a navigator and you need assistance after the fact, you're not dealing with somebody that knows the details of your specific situation. So it doesn't cost anybody anything more. When they go to the healthcare.gov site and they see what the cost of a plan is going to be, it's not going to cost them a dime more if they use an agent versus using a navigator.
Okay, so it's definitely advisable to reach out to an agent such as yourself. Les, real quick, give out your contact information for the audience.
Well, our office number is 813-995-0292, and the website is alsaland.com.
alsaland.com. So tell me a little bit, why did you decide to start your company? I mean, what was you mentioned something about you were in IT before. I take it, you wanted to be more involved, in assisting families with their insurance needs and everything, but elaborate on that a little bit more if you would.
Well, my entire life I've always been helping people. Before I got in IT, I was in the hospitality business, and I worked my way up through the industry, and I finished up the industry in high-end restaurants. So that was always helping people. I got into IT, and I was doing troubleshooting. I was doing the support side of things. Ironically enough, I got started doing the support of restaurants with their IT when IT first started hitting the hospitality business. So I've always been helping people. But as my wife worked for this one insurance company, I'll leave them nameless, and I started associating with a lot of those agents in there. I saw what they did. They came out and they actually tried to sell us or educate us on what the plans were. And I looked at them and I said, well, I could do that. How do I get started? And that's how I got started. And really, I have this aptitude of understanding jargon and being able to translate it into layman's terms. And I advocate for our clients that they're not going to get and they don't have the time to do. And that is, sometimes it's arguing with the insurance company. I mean, I can argue with an underwriter. I can argue with the claims department to basically not plead our case, but prove our case.
Yeah, so it's very beneficial to always reach out to an agent, with regard to insurance and insurance needs, and as well as what I advise people with real estate. It's always advisable to reach out to an agent because there's so much stuff you don't realize you just do not know. So you always want to seek professional help whenever you're dealing with something, the magnitude of insurance or real estate. So if you're just tuning in here, you're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. Coming up here in the second half of the show, we're going to be talking more with Les Saland with A.L Saland Insurance Solutions with a focus on disability and some of the other areas of insurance that you need to be aware of. So again, you're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. And again, you'll find this show on every Mondays at noon. And this show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Back in a moment.